Most companies in the UAE are still doing business the old way. They're spending corporate money however they want, they're keeping no proper records, and they think, oh, they won't come after us. We've always filed our reports like this. Chanel purchases on corporate cards, trips to Cannes disguised as a business trip, no documentation whatsoever. You know what that means. The tax authorities already arrived. Audits are happening. Fines are being issued, and the amounts are very serious. My name is Richard. I work at Connect Group, and we've been helping entrepreneurs run their businesses successfully and properly, compliantly as well, since 2016. Today, I'll tell you how to avoid tax audits and what you can actually do to expense certain expenses under the company after the introduction of corporate tax. So remember the iron rule. Corporate money is spent only on company needs. Forget the times when you could buy anything for personal use with a corporate card. Those days are gone, my friend. If you have personal needs, there are two legal ways to pay them. Receive a salary as an employee or pay yourself a dividend as an investor. In the UAE, dividends can be distributed monthly, and it's a great way to get money for personal expenses. Many people ask about working with cash, and yes, in Dubai, many transactions still happen with cash. Up to 40,000 dirhams is the allowed limit, but you must have a cash book, and every dirham spent must be recorded and have the correct documentation with it. We had a client, a pediatric medical clinic, and they work with cash because tourists often pay in cash, and they keep part of the money in the cash register for an emergency expense, such as if the water cooler breaks or they need water urgently and suppliers only accept cash. But all these expenses are clearly documented. So that's an example of you can do it, but it needs to be done correctly. The good news is many things can be expensed to the company, such as business travel expenses, board meetings in a certain country and the travel costs associated, but only real business trips, and there needs to be documentation to prove this. So if you're flying to Italy to negotiate with a supplier, that's great, but all the expenses go to the company. Or if you decided to vacation in the Maldives disguised as a business trip, now we're breaking compliance and that's not going to work. The office expenses such as water, coffee, stationery, those can apply. And if you don't have your own office, the co-working space rental, that also counts. Exhibitions or events or conferences, that's not a problem. That's technically business development. If you're renting a corporate apartment for your business travelers, that's fine. You just need to immediately register the rental agreement to the company and not to yourself as a personal expense. Here's what you need to be careful with. Business lunches, taxi expenses, you can put them through accounting, but they won't reduce your taxable profit. Buying cars, another common one I've heard a lot. That's only if they're really needed for your work. So if you have a delivery vehicle, for example, but that new Maserati won't cut it. I have a client with 2 sales managers who drive around clients all day. They would have gone bankrupt on taxis, so they bought company cars. That's the right decision to make. But then you need to keep travel logs and properly calculate fuel consumption. Let's talk about salaries and dividends. The owner of the company can hire themselves, but the salary must match the market average. So check sites like The Talent Point, Bayut, Golf Talent. Look at the average salaries of your position in your industry, and you can't really pay much more than that. The tax authority will notice if you are vastly overpaying yourself. And don't think you can be clever by hiring your wife for a huge salary when she's not actually doing anything. The FTA knows about related parties, and they're under special scrutiny. If you're working with a remote specialist, let's say from India, Russia, North Africa, these are contractors. These are not employees. You need to sign a service agreement with them, and you need to pay them like you would any other company. For transfers, use payment agents. These are licensed intermediaries who help you send money internationally. They send it from your UAE company to a freelancer's account abroad with the correct documentation and compliance. And if you're working through platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, that's also a safe and acceptable route. These platforms automatically issue invoices and record transactions, which can help you keep your books clean. Small amounts up to $1,000 more or less can be paid in cash when you visit the country. The main thing is to properly document it and get a receipt from the freelancer. Before we move on, if you're just starting out in the UAE, don't wait to get these things right. We help founders set up their business right from day one. So book a free 30-minute Zoom consultation. The link's in the description. Don't completely delegate accounting to your accountant. You need to log into the accounting system. For instance, QuickBooks, Xero, Zoho. Check whether these documents are being entered on time. It's May today, but you only have March documents in the system. What about April? Don't hesitate to ask your accountant questions. Everyone makes mistakes. Documents get lost. It's better to find out and fix it right away than later. The document submission schedule depends on business size. Small companies can submit monthly, medium ones weekly, and restaurants and clinics should do it daily. Otherwise, it's easy to get confused in the documents. And here's an important warning. This is incredibly important to get correct. Audits are already happening. Those who filed corporate reports for 2023 are already being audited by the FTA. They're demanding all the primary documentation down to the last receipt. Don't think you have time to take it easy or that they won't come after you. They will, and the fines will be quite painful. Check out our video where we sat down with Ben Hooper from IFSA and we discuss all things free zone and what the sort of trends are for free zones and where we expect to be in a year's time.